finances, investing, estate and retirement planning? Well, I went to school, so you don't have to. Welcome to Finances and Beneficiaries. Finances and, in conjunction with my company, Capital Coaching, helps people achieve their financial goals through personal, tailored, attentive, and financial coaching services. We create successful financial plans by examining your spending and saving habits, and then guiding and educating you to personal success. Coaching services include evaluation of your spending plan, building your savings, financing your retirement, examining your insurance needs, and planning for your individual goals. Please contact me at capitalcoaching.net to make an appointment for a free consultation. Beneficiaries. These are the people that you choose to receive money from an account once you've passed on. They benefit financially from your accounts. These accounts could include a trust, life insurance, or even bank accounts. The benefactor, the person who assigns the funds, can stipulate things like the age of the recipient or even if the beneficiary needs to be married. But the most important thing is to assign the beneficiaries. If you don't name someone, or even more than one person, the state will decide what happens to the money that you have, and that can have huge tax consequences for the people that you love. 401ks, 403bs, or IRAs give you the ability to choose or designate a beneficiary. In fact, if the person chosen is a spouse, then that money can be rolled over into their own IRA. For those chosen who are not a spouse, you do have some options. The first one is that they can take a lump sum distribution, meaning they take a single payment at one time, not a lot of smaller payments over time. This is taxed at the person who received its ordinary tax rate. And your ordinary tax rate is what is assigned based on your adjusted gross income on your taxes annually. The second option is that they could use the money within 5 years of the original owner, if that was you, your death date. Again, the benefit is that the money goes straight to the person that the original owner wanted it to go to without having to wait for probate, and that's a real benefit. Probate is the legal term for when a will is being reviewed to determine if it's valid and authentic. And basically, it makes sure that the way that the deceased person wants their affairs to happen, that it actually happens. Especially if a will has not been written, then the law steps in and makes sure that whatever assets that person has gets distributed what they feel is properly. It is a headache, though, so you don't want to have people that you'd like to leave money to having to wait for probate to go through. Life insurance is similar in terms of assigning it to someone and getting it quickly after the person passes, but it has an added bonus. Not only is it given directly to the named beneficiary, but it is tax-free income to the recipient. Any children who are named that are still a minor in their state would have to wait to get the proceeds, but that's placed in a trust for them, or it is assigned to the children's legal guardian named on their behalf. Life insurance has two different beneficiary options: revocable, which can be changed, or irrevocable, which cannot be changed. Most policies are revocable, and that means that the owner of the policy can end or terminate that policy or make any changes they want to who receives the benefit. Imagine that you get divorced. You might want to change who's getting that benefit upon your death. Irrevocable policies mean that unless the beneficiary allows the policy to be changed, they can't be removed from the policy. And this is often seen in businesses where each partner might name each other so that in the event that one of them dies, the living partner is paid so that they could keep the business. In any case, always be thoughtful when considering who you want to designate in these policies. Designation is pretty simple these days. You can hop online for most cases and open your account information and find out who you currently have assigned as a beneficiary. And if you don't, make sure that you assign someone. It is important because in the event of your death, this money will go directly to the person that you want it to go to. Annuities are another type of account that can be assigned beneficiaries. They are lump sum amounts that are paid out equally over time, and they're generally tax deferred. That means that they're taxed at the ordinary rate for the recipient on any money above the initial invested amount. So if someone put $20,000 in and the death benefit is $30,000, then the recipient will pay taxes, but only on that $10,000 difference, not on the original $20,000, because when that $20,000 was invested, taxes had already been paid on it. Your bank account has similar designations called TODs, or transfer on death. However, if the account is a joint account, nothing's going to happen to that account. The surviving owner will continue to own the account once the other person has died. But a TOD means that all the monies that can be distributed upon death without probate, and it also allows a primary and a contingent recipient. Primary meaning the person that you choose, and contingent meaning if that person you've chosen isn't available to take the money. Either they've passed or they, for some reason, are not able to take it. Once you assign these primary and contingent recipients to your account, though, don't worry. At no time while you're alive will they have access or control over your accounts. Stocks, bonds, and brokerage accounts are also eligible for this kind of transfer if you designate on the form provided by the bank or the brokerage firm you're using. They may require a death certificate or other proof of death of the grantor before allocating stocks or bonds to the designated beneficiary, but it's not a hard thing to do. Beneficiaries don't have to be just one person. It could also be 2 or more people. They can split this 50-50 or honestly any percent that you want to assign to them. It can be set up in a trust and part of your estate, or you could even give part of it to charity. When you're naming a beneficiary, be specific. Don't say my wife, because this means that anyone you were ever married to in the past will get a part of this money. And the opposite's true if you're going to appoint a beneficiary as your children. The opposite is true of children. You want to say your children if you want all of them to get a part of it, because any children born after the original document is drafted, or any children you adopt afterwards, if they are not specifically named, would not be included. In fact, why would you bother to name anyone at all? Without a named beneficiary, the funds are held in probate, which means that the court starts a legal process to sort out the deceased's finances and determine how all the money will be distributed. This can take months or even years. You can find out more about probate in episode 3 called Wills. Beneficiaries can either be primary or contingent, as I said. Primary benefits are the first name and they're the expected recipient, but contingent beneficiaries are named so that if the primary dies before or at the same time, this backup beneficiary receives the benefit. Most often, beneficiaries are family. Some states require that if you name someone else other than your spouse, you'll need their written permission. If you have a special needs member of your family, it may seem prudent to name them so that they would be financially supported, but coming into a lot of money can actually make them ineligible for some government funds that they're entitled to, meaning they could lose a lot of money over their lifetime. It's better to name a trust as the beneficiary if this is your circumstance, so they'll have access to that money, and an estate planning attorney can help you set this up. Some people even name charities as their beneficiaries and as a final way to give on their behalf. Any nonprofit can reap the rewards of your generosity, so if you have a passion, this could be the way to go. Again, consult an estate planning attorney for your situation. What happens if you don't name a beneficiary? In rare cases, a policy won't be paid out at all, but more than likely the benefit would fall to the courts to decide who gets it through probate. In all cases, the named beneficiary overrides any instructions on a will, so don't assume that you can change the recipient. Make sure to go to the organization where the beneficiaries are assigned so that you can make the change on their documents. When choosing a beneficiary, keep in mind why you chose that person. Are you trying to keep your business afloat or support your family? The benefit paid out can be applied to funeral costs, end-of-life costs, or even general living expenses. It's up to the person or persons who are named how that money will be spent. The bottom line is, name someone for every account that you can outside of your will so that they'll have quick access to the funds after your passing, and they'll not be taxed on certain accounts, so they'll be able to keep that entire amount. Like all your estate planning, annual reviews of who you're designating is a must. You'll want to make sure that those you want to get your assets do get them. Thanks for listening to Finances and Beneficiaries. We know you chose to listen and we're grateful. If you enjoyed this episode, please follow or subscribe for free in your podcast provider. You can find us on Amazon Alexa, on Spotify, and of course on Apple Podcasts. Finally, consider leaving a review because it brings financial education to others and it helps people find us more easily. Please let me know what topics you'd like me to cover by going to the website at financesand.net and leaving a message. You can also contact Capital Coaching for your own personal financial needs at capitalcoaching.net. Finances and does not provide tax or legal advice, and nothing in this podcast is to be construed as such. Always consult a tax, accounting, or legal professional for advice on your specific situation. Remember, I went to school, so you don't have to.